All right, welcome back. We saw Watcher. We were in the front row of a very small theater.
23 people.
Yeah, 23 people.
Well, 23 seats. I don't know if that was all filled.
It was mostly filled, I feel like.
The seat next to me was empty.
Yeah, but like,
It was.
I think there were at least 12 or 13 people in there. That's a good showing for that small of a theater. Honestly, I think this should have been in a bigger theater.
Yeah, this was a good movie.
Yeah, it was good.
I was highly skeptical. I was like, I don't see any press for it. I don't see anything for it. I was like, this may not be very good, but it was good.
It is one of those movies, one of those like horror movies that it just has like a very simple premise.
Like Morbius, but it was done masterfully. Expert craftsmanship.
It's kind of like we saw the trailer for The Black Phone before the movie. It's kind of like that. Like The Black Phone's very simple premise. Like, I kidnapped this kid.
No, but Black Phone, the only trailer I've seen, and I didn't bother watching any other trailers, I know the whole plot. I know the entirety of the film after they released one trailer. And I was like, damn, it looked interesting for the first 30 seconds.
Yeah. Generally with Watcher, you know the premise. Sort of, you basically know what the movie's going to be by watching the trailer. It's a man is across the street from this couple, but mainly this woman, and she sees him watching her.
Yeah, they moved to a new apartment or something in Romania.
Yep. And she doesn't speak any Romanian.
No, yeah. So she has some difficult... Well, she speaks a little bit, I think. She's trying to learn it.
Just a little bit, yeah.
But that presents its own difficulties with a language barrier.
Yeah.
Being in a new country as a foreigner.
Yeah, and she's just being watched by a man across the street.
Yeah.
And there's, I think this is in the trailers, so I'll say it.
What?
I don't know, cover your ears if you haven't seen the trailers and you want to preserve it. But like, I think we know from the trailers that someone has been murdered near their residence in Romania.
I think they show that.
Yeah. So you know that there's a murder that's happened, and then that she's being watched by a man across the street.
By Milo.
By Milo from Morbius.
Yes. Who actually, I don't want to say who it is. No, it says it on Google.
Yeah.
It's by Bern Gorman.
Gorman is the Watcher.
Who I recognize him from The Dark Knight Rises. I don't know about where you recognize him from.
That's the only place I've ever seen him.
Yeah. I clicked on his like thing earlier. I'll click on it now, and it said he's in like I think the new Halo. I think he shows up in Pacific Rim.
He's a somewhat named actor.
He's in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Yes. That's actually. Yes.
I never saw him in that.
I did see him in that. I guess that's where I recognize his face from. Anyways,
was he in a Lighthouse? No, sorry, that's not Lighthouse. No, sorry.
I do want to hit on the Romanian thing because that was one of my pleasant surprises for this movie, and I don't think this is spoiling it very much. It's a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
One of the ways they accomplished that, I thought, which was more subtle, which I really loved, was like there are no subtitles for the Romanian
and
speakers.
I was thinking about that too.
So like you are really put in the perspective of this woman through just her daily interactions throughout the city because she's being spoken to almost exclusively in Romanian, like
for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part, and unless she like just with people outside of like her husband. Her husband speaks English to her, but everyone else pretty much is speaking Romanian. So like she's just completely like lonely feeling, even like at dinner with her husband and like his coworkers, friends or whatever, like they're all speaking in Romanian. She's just sitting there not understanding what's going on. And the fact that they didn't use subtitles, just you as a viewer just are completely left in the dark as well.
I was confused at first. I was like, I thought this was indie. I don't know. I don't remember who produced this, but I was like, oh, is this whole film not in English? And then she asked, what did she say? And then
she said something in English. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I understood like, oh, that's just going to be an element of this movie. And
it was good. Great.
It was good.
It was a really good touch. Yeah. You really do feel it does put you in her shoes. Cause you're just like, okay, wow, I'm completely alone in this foreign, country. And then she's like psychologically alone too, pretty much except for her neighbor who speaks English and talks to her. Her husband, like, basically is not emotionally supportive at all and, like, does not believe her paranoia with this man watching her. across the street.
It's a little bit cliche. That was one of my only main
relationship, the husband relationship especially was.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna say it. Never mind.
Yeah, we can get into it.
It was spoiler. But yeah, I thought the husband not believing her kind of thing was cliche, but it was done well, so I can't complain. But yeah, it was really good. I would say director of photography knew what they were doing in this movie. It looked really good.
And they created a lot of eerie shit with that.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed any of that, but I thought a lot of the lighting and things looked really good in this movie. I don't know who did it. We could Google it. But.
Sure. One of the things, just to touch on that, like the DP work, like if I know a horror movie's good and it's got me freaked out, if I'm like, every time there's like a shot and there's a little bit of space in the background that's like in deep focus, I'm like checking every corner of the shot to like look to see if something or somebody is popping out. Like that's how I know it's good. If they got me looking around the frame, like, Jesus Christ, what the hell's gonna come out right now? Like,
yeah, were you looking for like the blurry silhouettes whenever they were walking in the streets or anything? That's what I was looking for too.
Yeah, even in her house when she was alone, like just all of the shots were visually like creepy.
I was wondering if something would pop out of the dark.
I loved that.
It was well done. There were some cool Easter eggs. I mentioned this to you guys in the car when we were driving back from it. In the streets, there are like little Easter eggs to the title. Where it's called Watcher, and they are like bus ads, street signs, and like some of them are just like these little eyes looking around, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. That's a nice little touch.
Yeah.
But
yeah, just a lot of stuff like that. I don't know. It's like surprisingly immersive. Yes. I think is a good way to describe like the world.
Yeah.
Because you really don't leave the apartment building much. I mean, she's there for the most part, and just around the city. Yeah. Like, it's just...
Well, it's the surrounding neighborhood, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the surrounding neighborhood, pretty much. It's a really good sequence in the movie theater that I thought was pretty creepy. And then the other thing I want to say before we, like, give our scores and get into spoilers... Nico laughed at me. I like genuinely jumped out of my seat scared, and we went with two other friends. They were scared as well. Like it really, like, jump scares I think are cheap a lot of times, but like if they get me, it means like I have been on edge the whole time. Like that's how I feel. I know that it's been scaring me the whole time if I'm gonna get scared by like the first jump scare.
Yeah,
and the jump scares got me in this.
Well, there were like 3 big ones that I remember, right?
Yeah, from what I can
remember. The first one
yeah.
definitely got you. I remember seeing on the screen, 0.5 second delay, there's Nick jumping.
Yeah.
And then, you remember the second one, right?
I do, yeah.
That one, I didn't jump, but I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And that was literally just like...
I jumped at that one too, I think.
Would that spoil it if I even say what it is?
I don't think so.
It's literally just a train passing by in the subway.
But it's just at a moment that's so
it's real quiet,
she's so alone,
on edge for just a second, and then the train just passed by, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, she's just so I don't know. The actress, Micah Monroe, I think. That's right. Yeah. She just like does such a good job of like.
She plays Julia. Sorry.
Yeah, she conveys that paranoia, and she's just alone in a room for so much of this movie, or alone in a train station, or alone in, she's just alone, and like you just feel that like feeling of like, damn, like I have no one around right now. If something bad happens, if I'm being hunted, if someone's watching me, like there's nothing I can do about it. I'm alone. Like I don't know. That just was like it had me really on edge, and that's what I want in this type of movie.
Yeah. Well, did you like Bern Gorman?
I did.
As the antagonist?
I did. I thought he was good. I don't think we should talk about him much.
No.
I thought he was really good. The antagonist was really good. A lot of the supporting cast was good. I thought her friend was good, or the friend that she met there was good.
The neighbor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The husband wasn't bad.
Carl Glusman.
I mean, he was a dick, but like.
Yeah, but
that's
what I was saying. I thought that was a little bit cliche, but it's like I don't know how else they would have written him for this movie, honestly. So good for them. They did well.
Yeah. I think I know what my score is going to be.
Okay, what do you think?
I'm going to go with... All right, I'm going to go with a 7.8 on this one. Like, really quality for me. Like, I think just it was a little simple, and I think in the third act, which we'll talk about more in spoilers, I think I really liked the way it ended, but I think some of the build up in the third act, like, really just took the suspense out of it. Like, I was able to sigh a little bit and breathe. I don't know. I wasn't as on edge, which I think was the best thing that this movie had going for it, was the fact that I was constantly worried. Because, like, in the third act, they answer some questions, which we'll talk about, I feel like, and then it takes some of the steam out. And then I think it picks up right towards the end, but I think there was just, like, a bit of time, maybe 20 minutes, where I was just like,
I didn't feel too on edge watching this. Like, when I was watching, I take that back. Middle of the second act, third act, I was kind of on edge, but, like, when we watched Men, like, I was really on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh my God, something's about to happen. Something's about to happen here. Something's about to happen there. This one, it felt really slow, and not slow like in a bad way, but I knew nothing in the plot was like ready to just happen and then just change the whole outcome of the story.
That's true. I guess Men did a better job of, like, right out of the gate hitting you with, like,
with shocking, jaw-dropping stuff. Yeah. Like,
and this one was a very slow...
it was a slow build.
It was a slow build, but I thought it was such a well-done slow build that I liked it.
You liked the pacing of it?
Yeah, okay. I did. Yeah. I don't know. This is my preference, though.
Yeah. I think for something like this, it has to be a bit slower.
Yeah. Just based on the premise.
It's a bit more stalker, predator-prey relationship. I would think slow would be best for this.
Yeah.
Which you could say that about a lot of horror movies, but I think this one in particular thrived off that slow. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, you love No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
I think that the build-up was similar to this at a certain point. Like, I would say, like, the build-up to the first confrontation between Llewellyn and Anton in that was similar to, like, the build-up with this. I don't know. It just felt similarly well done, you know?
Yeah. I think obviously there was a lot more action in that movie.
Yes.
So it was a bit more fast-paced.
Yes.
But
especially at a certain point, but yes.
Yeah, there was a nice build going up to that, but I think this was well done too. I'm going to give this a solid 8. Okay. 8.0.
Okay.
Again, I didn't like how cliche the husband relationship was. That's all. That's really my only big negative from it.
Yeah.
For the most part, I think they answered every question. There weren't many questions to ask in the first place.
Yeah, it's just really like, is she being watched? Who is watching her? But unlike Men, this answered the questions. This was
resolved. Everything got resolved.
Everything was resolved by the end. And do you want to get into spoilers now? Spoiler warning.
Yeah, we'll get into spoilers.
All right, spoiler warning. We're getting into it. I just will say the part that I didn't like was, or I thought it took some of the gas out of the,
Was the train?
It was that, well, it was the whole party. It was really after he shows up at the door. So there's a whole police, if you're listening to this and you have seen it or haven't seen it, it's like there's a policeman that's sort of like...
Oh, they called the police because she sees him again.
Yeah, they called the police, and then it turns out the Watcher, I don't know, to like ease her comfort or something, also...
Comes with the police.
Yeah, he also called the police on her. So...
Oh, yeah, they called the police on her because she went to go with... I don't know how to explain this either. There's too much to explain if you haven't seen it. But she wants to go see him in person in his own like hallway.
Yeah.
And then she ends up going with like a friend of a friend who like basically threatens the Watcher's dad.
Yeah.
And then he counter calls the police on her, saying, "You threatened my dad."
So basically, he ends up at her door.
Yeah.
With the policeman and the husband there. And it's the first time that Julia, is that her name?
Julia, yeah.
Julia and the Watcher meet each other.
They come face to face.
Yeah, and they communicate.
Yeah, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, but like for me, that moment made him feel like such a less threatening character.
You think?
Just for me, I was less worried about him. Like when I saw when the train moment happened, I was a little scared, but like.
But he kills.
But when he showed up on the train, it was less. I don't know. It was less worrying to me. I don't know.
Okay, but like remember, so he kills Irina right before that.
Yeah.
But we don't know that. We think that she's just back in her apartment. And Irina's the neighbor of Julia. I'm sorry. And there was that whole scene the night before where there was like they walked in, tried to find Irina. They couldn't find anything. There was just a cat in the apartment. And then he's hiding. We later find out in the movie that he was hiding in this closet.
They hinted at it a little bit visually, but yeah.
It's not. You're not certain. You think maybe it's more just paranoia.
Yeah.
This, that. And then he just is like, I was hiding in the closet and you were looking directly at me.
Yeah. That was creepy.
That was creepy.
That final interaction, I think, good spoiler, like that final interaction between them was really creepy.
Yeah.
And that's all on the actors there. Like, I think a moment like that can fall flat easily in this type of horror movie. But, like, the fact that he, like, kept up, like, and then he lays down on the ground next to her when she's, like, bloodied and shit. Oh, my God.
It was so weird. It was wild. Yeah. It was a wild turn of events.
He did a great job, though. Like,
I really like Brian Corman.
Yeah.
And I liked him in The Dark Knight Rises.
Even though it was a small role, he was still just a Weasley schmuck in that movie. He
seemed like he would be one of those creepy guys. From that role alone, I was like, oh, he's so off-putting.
Yeah.
For, like, the minute that he has on screen. I'm glad he got a movie like this.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was really good.
Yeah, he played the character really well. The one thing I didn't love was just like he there's a point in the movie where, and this was really cool. I liked the premise of what they did, but like she's like, fuck this, I'm tired of being watched. I'm going to start watching him. And so she starts following him around the streets. But like there are just several moments where you just see him walking through the city with his like arms just down. He just didn't swing his arms when he walked. He just walked around like it's like
I don't know how to describe that. Like let's say you were animating a 3D character and you didn't animate the arms to move yet. You were just trying to work on the legs. That's how he was walking.
He was just a stiff body and like
his upper body was
funny.
stiff.
It just looked funny and it made me take him less seriously in that moment. I think that's my complaint. The more and more they showed of him, the less scary he got until the very end. He scared the crap out of me when he started actually like killing.
But looking back on it, I think that's just supposed to be a little detail that you would catch watching it a second time, being like, oh, he's obviously something's wrong here.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was definitely intentional. I just didn't love it because for me
he doesn't walk like that in The Dark Knight.
No, well, I didn't love it because it just the more they showed of him, the more I felt disengaged.
Well, what about like when he's like just going on, just feeding the birds, going to his job, doing whatever? Like he just. I
was still interested more just for her sake.
I was curious because I didn't see that his name is just shown up as Watcher when you Google the movie. So I wasn't sure if he actually was the Watcher or if this was just like a whole trick and it was actually just somebody else. Yeah, I wasn't sure either. We were waiting for a twist. So I thought that was cool because it could be like, oh, maybe he's not actually like the guy.
Would you have wanted them to do that?
The thing is, they didn't introduce anybody at that. By the point,
there was only the one other guy that got arrested or whatever.
But no, well, yeah,
like the plumber dude.
Yeah, but he wasn't arrested when we first see him. He's just like sitting there. I guess he found whatever body, quote unquote, found the body, but like
he actually did find the body. Well,
it turns out he did.
He was wrongly arrested.
Yeah, now thinking about it, he did actually just find the body, and for some reason he got framed. But whatever. I don't know. They didn't introduce anybody else, so they really couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
To make it anybody else by this point.
That's true.
I mean, they could have, but like.
That's true.
It could have just been some random Jason Voorhees who you don't know.
Yeah. I think I liked the way they did it, though.
I think I did, too.
And I liked... Okay, so I guess the negative for me is sort of a positive. I like the fact that they make you feel a little easier around him. Like, because our friend Jay said this, like, when he comes up to her on the train, he like felt bad for him at first because honestly I felt some of that too because he starts telling a story about how he's just watching his dad, taking care of his dad.
He's taking care of his kind of old decrepit father who's I guess slowly dying of whatever. Maybe he's old and he's taking care of him. That's all. But he says like, yeah, I kind of missed out on some things in life. I have to take care of my father. And then I've been imagining like there's a pretty girl who moves in eventually, and then she notices me after I've been noticing her. And then he's like, well, you are the pretty girl. And then I was like, oh.
And then he gets a little aggressive towards the end of the conversation, I felt.
And then she goes, why were you following me? He's like, I just want an apology.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, he's obviously a weird bad guy.
It was. And then the way they build up the final interaction, the climax there was great too, with her walking into the apartment next door, finding her murdered neighbor. Yeah. That was good.
No, wait. We have to mention on the train. Did you like how you couldn't make out if it was her neighbor's head in the bag?
Oh, that was really good. Yeah.
He had a bag next to him on the train, and you couldn't tell what's in this bag.
See, that's the moment where it picked back up for me. That's the moment where I was like on guard again.
Like I thought I saw some eyelashes, and I was like, "Ooh, maybe there's like a hairline right there."
I couldn't tell. I thought it might have been a knife too. There was like a weird outline. I
couldn't tell. I was fixated on this one spot on the bag that I couldn't make out. I thought it was just your eyelashes of some face, and I was like, "No, maybe he isn't the guy. Maybe those are just some fruits and something is in the bag."
I would like to watch it again just to get a closer look at that, even. Or just watch that part.
If that still comes out on Twitter, we'll probably retweet it or something. But
it was
I'm
freaky.
In that. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
It was freaky. I think I don't know. Like you said, Men was faster paced, but there was just something about this movie, and that this is big credit to the actress, to Micah Monroe, and to the director and to the DP. Like, there's just something about the feeling of this movie that like built slowly enough that just really stuck with me. Like even now I'm just thinking about it like, damn, that movie was creepy.
Well, I think visually they have a lot of things where the actress is alone in the streets,
and she played that well. Like she alone, looked so paranoid.
Yeah, and well, she's also alone. She can't speak Romanian with anybody.
Yeah, all those things.
She travels alone throughout the movie theater, the store, whatever. And then mentally she just feels alone because nobody believes her.
Yeah.
So, like, I think they obviously had a few things lining up together to show that this character is feeling lonely. She feels like no one understands her, no one listening to her. And then it just worked.
Yeah, it's easy to have all of those elements that you just mentioned and, like, just attempt to do all of those elements. But, like, the fact that they hit on every one as intended was, like... That's what made that element like perfect to me. They really nailed all of those elements. Really, for me, except for the husband, like because he was very cliche with the way he was making her feel.
Just
like,
I don't believe you. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like
she says you're just trying to rationalize everything into it's okay, but clearly it's not.
The movie's also 90 minutes long.
It's not very long.
Not very long, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. I thought that was a really good runtime for it.
I think so. With that. I was curious when the movie was about to end because I was like, okay, I think we're close to 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if they were ready to get to the ending. They did.
Like, I don't think it was a slow burn, but I don't think it wasted any time. I thought everything was necessary. But yeah, that's our review. Anything else you want to say?
Go support this.
Yes.
This is. I don't know who produced this. I'm so sorry. I didn't Google that again.
I think it was IFC. And IFC who's the director?
Focus Features, Universal Pictures. Director is Chloe Okuno.
Props,
this was good.
Props to everyone. Props to everyone that worked on this. Like,
they're probably not gonna get a lot of recognition for this movie. If they do, I hope so. This was a good movie. This was one of the better recent films I think we've seen.
Yeah, I want this movie to get more support. I'm sad that I think this was the second night of release. We're gonna be uploading this later, but
we're recording this 2:20 a.m. on Sunday, June 5th.
Yeah,
I don't know when we're releasing this.
Yeah, I think we're gonna release it on Thursday or Friday. But we saw this the second or third day after it was released, and it was a small theater. There was good support for that small theater, but I don't know. I mean, if you're a horror fan
This is a movie you should see.
This is a great movie for you.
Which, speaking of horror movies that we've seen X. We've seen this, and then we saw Men.
Mm-hmm.
Of the three, I think this takes the cake.
I think this does so far. Of 4 movies I've seen this year, we missed some horror movies because for the calendar year, but like, because I think some released. We didn't start till April or May, right?
March.
Oh, we started in March. Yeah, so
we saw Batman.
I think January and February may have had some horror movies that we might have missed, but like, of the horror releases that we've seen, this is the best one, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad we saw this.
Were there other horror movies that we haven't seen?
I want to say like Scream released this year.
Did it?
Like the new Scream, but I don't know.
I don't know either.
I wasn't too interested in it anyways when I saw it. This is a great horror movie, a great suspense movie. If you wait to see it on streaming, fine, but like watch it, to scare your friends. It's great. Like it really makes you feel on edge if you like this type of movie.
Mm-hmm.
And go support it. Like, go support good projects like this. Don't just go see Marvel movies. Don't just go see Star Wars.
Even if you do go see a Marvel movie, maybe pay for like a ticket for this or some other small indie project, and then just go theater hop. It's not like anybody's gonna stop you.
Yeah, movies like this being good are what is good for the film industry.
Yeah,
like smaller.
This and Morbius.
This and Morbius. Smaller directors. Smaller studios.
Hot
whatever.
Jared
Leto. Morbius hot ass.
Morbius Milo final fight scene with a million CGI bats.
All right, it's too late.
It's not too late. Go Morb on, my fellow Morb heads. Oh yeah, are you a Morb head or are you a watcher?
That's the question.
That's the question of the day.
Yeah, if you listened all the way through, text us or tweet at us or reach out to us.
Our Twitter is reviews at reviews really. Our Instagram is really reviews.
Yeah.
You could email us.
Are we really reviews on TikTok too?
Yeah, we are really reviews on TikTok. Go follow us on there too. We're trying to run up and make some big plays on TikTok.
The question of the century is:
are you a Morb head or a watcher?
That's right. Morb head or watcher? Comment down below.
Nick, what are you?
I'm a Morb head.
I'm a Morb head.
All right.
How could we not be Morb heads?
We are big time Morb heads, and we are clipping this and putting this on TikTok.
Go Morb yourself.
Go Morb yourself.
Go Morb someone else.
Morby Morb. All right. We're done. Goodbye.